Okay, so now we're ready to get this exported in and set up in Painter. So what I'm going to do, let me just make a little space here. I'm going to select all of the high poly geometry and only the high poly geometry and go to File, Export Selection. And we'll go ahead and call this controller, if I can spell it, underscore high. Oh my gosh. And then I'm just going to hit Control H and we'll show all of the low. Select all that stuff. And we will call this controller low. Show you what I'm doing here. So FBX, all the stuff, whatever it is, probably going to be fine. Let export selection, and we'll jump into Painter, File, New, and then we'll grab controller low and hit OK. Go to Bake Mesh Maps, set it to 2048, leave all the stuff on. We'll go to controller high. That's going to be our high poly. Now this is very important. We need to go into the ID, and here you can see it's going to be the material color as the color source. We need to set that to vertex color. And then I'm going to hop back over to my common settings. And there's one other thing that we need to do that's very important right here where it says, well, this we covered in the last tutorial, but we're going to set that to 2x2. And then for match, we want to change it from always to by mesh name. What this means is it's going to respect the high-low stuff. So like this low poly geo is only going to talk to the other low, or the high poly geo that's got the same name, like we set it up in Maya. So, and I can see here I've got a problem with my edge smoothing already. I want to make sure that I address that. So let's just hop back over into Maya for a moment. I think it's where we had that little hiccup with the geo. So we'll go to Edit Mesh. In fact, I'll just select everything here. Mesh display, I'm going to unlock, and then I am going to soften the edges. So that should make that look better. We'll just export that again. Overwrite our controller low, export selection. We'll hit yes, back into Painter. Let me cancel this. So it's so early, I could just make a new file, but you just go to project configuration and select, and then grab controller low, and you can re-import your geo. And we can see now it's all clean there, and we've got all of our original settings that we set up. Actually, maybe it nuked all that stuff. We'll know in a second. Controller high. Let me go to the IDs. Yeah, forgot all that stuff. Okay, we'll go to vertex color. I think you've got to bake it once, and it'll remember. If you don't ever bake it, it just goes back to the defaults. We'll go to common here, and then I'm going to set this to 2x2 and by mesh name, so we respect our naming convention, low and high. That's not arbitrary, it's right here. You can change it if you want, but why would you bother changing it? It's just super easy to keep it at low, high. So now we'll just do a quick bake selected textures. Oh, and here's another thing. We can, 7 textures, right? So those textures, I'll show you in a second. We'll just go ahead and bake them. All right. So there is our controller. And this is one of the things I think is so cool. We do have some ambient occlusion around this area here, which is not so great. I can show you a trick that'll probably fix it. I'm not sure what we're getting there with that banding, but my guess is this piece here, the plane that we use, is just raised up a little bit. So we'll just need to, the same fix for that AO there should fix this as well. But you can see here we get the illusion of a little bit of an inset area without actually having to do any sculpting. And that's all super cool. So we are also getting this this kind of ghosty ambient occlusion, which looks cool, but is really not accurate. So I'm going to do one more thing here in the bakes. In ambient occlusion, where it says self-occlusion, we're just going to use only same mesh name. So that's basically going to say to do the same, like only high and low pairs will create ambient occlusion for each other. So we shouldn't be getting this AO here because this thing is called one, well, this may still cast AO, but this one probably will fix. We'll know in a second. Let's just go ahead and bake it. Cool. All right. So that is our successfully baked geometry there. So let's just throw some very quick materials. What I was going to show you before is we've only got this one material on here. If you go to your texture set settings, if you see more than one material, that's a sign that you've got a problem with your low poly, and you basically just need to make sure that all of your low poly geo is sitting on one material before you export it. So what I want to show you now is what we got from changing the colors on the high poly. If I go down to my mesh maps here, which are the maps that are generated when we bake, and I click on ID, you can see all of those colors that we assigned to the geometry, the high poly geometry, are now showing up here as one of our mesh map bakes. So I'll tap the M key to go back, and we'll just scoot this over so that we can look at our reference. Let me go ahead and close this. Oh, there's Maya under there. So I'll just like scoot this over a bit. All right, so let's start with a dark gray material, or maybe it's this white here. So we'll make a fill, and the fill can be white, and that's just the base. So everything that we do from here on will be on top. So I'll just rename this as like base. But this is important. I want to assign a mask to this. I'm going to add a black mask, and then into the mask I'm going to right click and select Add Mask with Color Selection. So when I do that, I'm going to get my ID mask. We can hit Pick Color, and then I want this to be the red stuff. So we can see automatically this material is now assigned to everything that we made red, which is all this white stuff here. Tap the M key. So now I can go and we'll make like a dark gray. Well, let's make it dark gray. And you can actually sample the colors on an image, which is pretty convenient. Going to add a black mask, right click in here, go to Add Mask with Color Selection, pick color, and we'll pick our little green color here. It'll be better if I don't have this fill up there. And there we can see that lovely material showing up. Let's make a new fill. And this one we can call like glossy black. And we'll add a black mask, mask with color selection. It's going to be the yellow part. Make it black and reduce the roughness so it gets nice and shiny. And then we'll make this like the gray stuff. Oops, throw my mouse around here. Right click, add black mask, right click, add mask with color selection. Grab the purple stuff, and then we'll make it that color there. And then we'll add another one, and this can be glossy red. Yeah, I'm doing two steps here that are not necessary. You don't have to add black mask and then add mask with color selection. You can just add mask with color selection. It's just a force of habit. And then for this, we'll make this one red and glossy. And then we've got our text here. Right click, color selection, grab this like orange color. I might have to zoom in a little bit there. And this will make red and a little bit flat. And you can see we've got this like crunchy stuff going on. So I just need to go over to my mask and then increase my tolerance a little bit, and it'll bleed that in. You can see it gets a little bit too far, so there's probably like a sweet spot. But basically what's happening there is because I chose to put red and orange on top of each other, we can just review that real quick. Or red and purple, I guess we're just getting this little bleeding here. Also, this is like maybe a texture resolution issue. Whatever, it's no big deal. So there's that, and then finally I am going to add this dull gray for the select and start buttons. Right click, add mask with color selection, and then we'll grab the blue area there, and we'll grab our little color sampler and make it kind of dull. And there you go, there's our remote control. So, and it's all low poly, and the textures look pretty nice, and hopefully that clarifies the process for how to build an asset using separate high poly pieces, using vertex colors to control material IDs, and all the other little things that we talked about. So I'd love to hear any questions or comments. Please feel free to shoot me an email, or if you do happen to see this on YouTube, you are welcome to leave a comment there. I will do my best to get back to you. So thank you very much.